So, welcome to the series on landscaping and um, a rendered image into LiDAR. Here you got a pretty complicated image, and I want to load up the original just to give you a sense of the stages of this tutorial. So, this was a rendered image from a scene with solar and EV charged a school bus, and very complex scene with, 100,000 polygons, and rendered it to a 3D, and then I used a sketch program to convert it to kind of a grayscale, literally a minute. So the idea here is just, typically, you apply your image on a plane and grayscale image, and but some of the techniques that's really cool in 3D is you can actually take this plane and increase basically the resolution um, by increasing the number of segments in a typical plane. And so then you can collapse that if you want at this point. You don't really collapse it. And what that does, it just makes an edible mesh. But one of the key modifiers, it's called Displace 3D Studio Max. And I'm going to bring the same bitmap in under Image Bitmap. Let's go to my file here. So this is the 2D image right here of the same image. Nothing happens because you have to have what's called a strength. So you can bring up the strength and you'll see if I take off um, kind of a cool 3D. You don't want to exaggerate too much. You don't want to take off your lines too much. But basically, you've got a 3D kind of visual of the image. What's great about this, once you get done, I'll just show you the end result. You've got a nice image 3D. And one of the things to remember is when you've got to collapse everything before you export it. And if you export the selected model to an FBX, we call it um, landscape scene. Let's go over here. Make sure that you have embedded media on so that the textures go with it. And make sure the textures in the same folder or you're getting some problems. So what you end up is like this, and I'll show you the import. Let me load it up. And let's go landscape scene. I just did. Voila, there's your landscape. This is in a open source software called Cloud Compare. Okay, and you'll have to scale and move it around to make sure you got it in the right position you want. It's kind of a unique way of showing 3D. 3D can be very taxing. This is a simple laptop. A little distorted, but shows the concepts and themes of futuristic schools that are going to be powered with EV stations. And so what I want to do is just say that for a minute. So basically all your materials and everything are in here, the vertices, and you can, just to show you, all the vertices in the mesh. And what we want to do is convert it to what's called a LAS cloud or a point cloud. So I'm doing 10 million points here. And if you look at a typical scene um, in terrain, will be so this is your LAS file. This is kind of a point cloud, and holding on the Alt key, you can get some really neat effects. And another thing in here too, you can now that it's a LAS cloud, you can add a height ramp, coolness. You can add where that here grayscale back again. There's a lot of neat things you can do to manipulate the colors. And but I'm gonna go back to the settings here, the landscape. Let me close all here and bring up the landscape here again. So landscape's the best feature. Another thing I like about this with the, now I've got 11 million points here. I'm just going to convert this again back to, set that here. So I'm going to convert this back to a LAS file again because I brought in the mat rebrought and the mash. It just takes a minute. So when you're navigating and you want to present this unique style, one of the things you can do is create what's. So these are 4 viewpoints here created. So again, to create a viewpoint, you just go under display, um, set viewpoint, take all these here, and you can just go under a plugin animation. And what happens? I'll show you here. It creates an animation of your